I want to welcome everyone to another episode of Guidance for the Soul Live. And I want to honor all of our viewers who've decided to join me in another session, when in essence, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to get online with the power. And I'm honoring of all those souls who start to think about the nature of the predictive qualities of guidance and say that would be the best thing ever, right? So we're talking about the kinds of messages that we may be getting in our minds previous to a session. Do you know what I do? Usually for a half hour, I'm sitting here listening to people who I know in my heart are there. I get messages for those viewers. In essence, it's not messages that you would necessarily get, but I hear the souls as they start to come across the screen. And in essence, some people are very interesting, okay? And I want to honor all of your visions. If you're in that mode of struggle because of the pandemic, we're not going to be dealing with that as much as what we normally would. But in essence, it was a strong one. I will be bringing back one of the soul embodiment videos that I put as private because I didn't have enough of the time to do the work that's needed actually in order to put it to a public forum, right? It takes me time to go through the videos, to place the keywords, the description, the content, those chapters. But in essence, that's all part of the after work. What do I do beforehand? Right? Okay, well, I can tell you now, I wasn't all dressed up, right? No, I was today. I just didn't have makeup on, basically, for today. And some people are saying, why do we do what we do? This is the nature. So I was told many things about how I look. And also now, and I want to be very honest, sometimes I get told things that are not pleasant. And I can understand what that is for. This is letting me know where I'm at in my mindset sometimes about how I feel, about how I look, or it can let me know about how others are perceiving me. Now, when I say that I want to honor all souls, even if you think I don't, give the best messages, or if I don't look a certain way, I'm not going to put on a wig, okay? And I was looking at all kinds of stuff, people. Let me tell you, not because I need a wig, but there's all kinds of stuff out there. And I fall into that trap. It's not a trap because beauty is, not skin deep, okay? But I look on Facebook and I click on those links. How many people are looking at all these hair and beauty products again? I can't even do that anymore because I sit there and I look in the mirror and I still feel beautiful, okay? So that's the beauty of soul embodiment. Sometimes you'll hear those things and sometimes I actually get made fun of by my guides because they're like, oh, she's admiring herself in the mirror. It wasn't like that for a long time. So I like to have fun with it, and it's not the whole, well, they would say beauty is skin deep, but no, it's not. For me, I really want people who are more interested in the vision of the guidance that I'll bring through, okay? So I want to talk to Dan's vision, okay? That's another soul. There's another soul there who has a guide. And it's not who we think it is. There are some people who know, oh, I've got another one on the line. I know there's other, souls on the line. Okay, that's the nature of it. I can't always come through with first names, but some people will start to understand. At some point, I might be giving out last names, or it might be just first name and middle initial. Okay, because it's not always going to be about my family tree. Let's put it that way. I'm getting people who I don't know contacting me at this point in time. Now, in essence, I want to honor your vision of love and adoration for all of our souls. Congratulations to the souls that are in the process of getting engaged again. Okay, unmarried. I get told about those visions for myself and for other people. Okay, so there are those souls who will be getting engaged in the new year, and we want to say thank you for that vision of love. Some of you might actually know more about that than others. Honolulu, Hawaii is all the rage. Okay, we're going to talk about how many people are going to Honolulu. That's another destination for a family tree member. And I want to say I honor those visions of love. It's going to be a little while before my family members get over to the big island of Hawaii, because that's where they're planning on going. Honolulu is a beautiful place. We want to honor those visions of it, although in essence, people, we have to do a little bit better with our career choices, right? I'm not here to disserve the soul of pandemic. This is the nature of soul embodiment. So my day was full of happy times, right? Not always. I don't always have the best of times. But when I heard that the power was on, I was like, hallelujah, we're going to have some good times, right? Idealized visions of pandemic are not what I bring through. What I'm bringing through is a vision of love for all those souls who are on their visions of journeys, okay, to the Dominican Republic. That's another strength of mine. Okay, someone else is thinking about the Dominican Republic and what that vision means for them. It can very much be a great place to journey to. It has its issues. The strengths there are it's of new journeys. It's a vast variety of choices that many people have. One of my friends is thinking about going to South America. There's also the Korean peninsula that is very struggled. Okay, it depends on where you're from and where you want. Okay, well, how many people know we're not going to North Korea? The Korean peninsula is under attack, right? With the vision of what, North and South. No, we're not going to go to that vision of war. What happens, though, when I start to bring through those visions? The channel for the soul is one of those visions that people are going to start to, like, I want to look at that one because it's got a celebrity in it, right? It's not that. Okay, soul embodiment is about my soul. And there's a person who I love in my heart who is very much in tune with the world as far as the vision of peace. And I want to talk about that vision. Peace for all of us. Peace, prosperity. And in essence, that's what I was given as my own vision for my heart. And in essence, I added health onto it as well. So let's be blessed with peace, prosperity, and of course, the health and well-being of all. This is the nature of why I'm here, to help guide us into that vision of love for ourselves, first and foremost, right? Most people will assume that soul embodiment is about your own love for your own heart. It has to be that way. When you start to bring through visions of love from other visions, you're not going to necessarily know, is this my soul member? How would I know if it's a soul member? I will tell you the difference between guidance and soul embodiment. Okay? To the visions of those who are looking for, how did I do what I did? I'm going to start bringing more of that information through. It was a luck of the draw, right? I literally followed the footsteps that were laid out in front of me. Okay, you take one step at a time and your beauty will start to shine through. That's the nature of it. Beautiful souls will always surround me. That's the nature of my heart, right? So people are thinking, oh, the channel of the soul. I'm embodied from within by my own hearts. So I don't have to worry about the souls of love that tend to kind of interest me in my mind sometimes. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a romantic sense, but it's the love of our hearts and our vibration, and we vibrate in the beauty of our souls. Caretakers, this is my major issue for the moment, is how many of us are tired because we are responsible for all the other people in our families. And when we do that, it can be its own struggle. And then we realize, well, I'm taking an honorary, someone's saying a strap to someone's hiney. And it was literally that kind of soul. So we have variance in our ability to decide who gets the strap, right? Now, I never got the strap. Others would. And we want to honor all those visions of those who say we have very different ideas about how to raise children. The caregivers of the world are often comparing themselves to other generations or each other and say, it's exhausting, people. It's just exhausting to do that work with this soul here. She is always on the lookout for the next best thing. Not even close. I stopped looking outside of my heart once I went down the road of love. And because you hear your soul saying, try something new, right? Try something new, a new gimmick to get people to come in and visit. Okay, this is not what this is. Soul embodiment is not a gimmick. It's actually the strength of soul level understanding that most people are curious about. So that's literally part of it. It is going to take a toll for a lot of people on their relationships. And when I say that, I don't mean that lightly. You will need to have your support system around you. It can be heavenly in its interpretation. It can be costly to some areas of your life, depending on how you look at it. If you are in the freedom movement of life, I want to be free of my family's ideas about who I am. You will struggle in that the moment of my family is part of my soul. Of course, they're part of it, but they're in the background watching as you embody your visions of love. Now, when I start to open up to the nature of guidance, that's a whole nother other issue, right? It can be an issue. It's not for all souls to do. I want to reinforce that vision. So the soul embodiment for my soul was that certain people are not necessarily participating fully in the conversation. Okay. Do I just talk, or do I start to answer the questions that others are having? When I release the video from November 20th, it's going to answer a lot of questions. And you would be very, very interested to know that my heart is still with my loved ones who are with me in my heart, who guide me in different fields of understanding. Fantasy football is still one of those areas that we're going to start talking about. I don't know what's going on, but I was hearing about Bryant Gumbel earlier today, and I was like, I already know who that is. I'm a football fan of past, so I definitely know who he is. The Today Show, wasn't he on sports? Isn't he sports as well? I don't know. But anyways, and maybe he's not sports. I always assumed he was sports. But anyways, I want to thank you for, now some people might be laughing, going, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm trying to bring through my own vision but I will be bringing through the vision of a guide. And I want you to think about those famous guides that you're looking at. Are they, closing their eyes and, rocking back and forth? Those are the deep trance channels. In essence, I go for it. At some point, I'm going to go for the deep trance channel, right? In front of somebody. I will. It's a view of love. And I want to talk to you about one of my experiences in that vision. For those of you that are on this path. You can decide whether or not it's for you. I felt a loving connection with my soul, and I decided to go for it. Most people are still in the mindset of, I'm just going to rock back and forth and vibrate in a love vibration that's beyond my imagination. Those of you who have ever done that work know that you can reach those higher vibrations very fast when you do that work. And for Brenda, it was very much of a love for her soul. I will not dishonor my heart by saying things that dishonor people's visions of who they are. When you decide to come to this vision of love for your own heart, it can feel draining many times. I had that vision laid out for me, but it was honest to God, the truth, that it can take a beating on you. Not literally, but you will feel those vibrations of your own soul, and they may be giving you visions of where you are depending on what vibration you're inhabiting at that moment. You want to guard your secrets, right? I'm not going to guard secrets. I will guard certain souls. I'm not here to do public, displays of affection for someone else. There was some other visions that were very confusing for people. And that's someone else's guide. They're like, I don't want to do any, public displays of affection. And we want to honor that vision. So some people are always very touchy-feely. Some people are very loving in their hearts. Some people are very carefree in their mindsets. Some of us, when we come into that vision of soul embodiment, it's not all going to look the same. Okay, but you do feel free to express yourself in a beautiful way. Now, if we go to that vision of love for hamstrings, okay, I'm being told that my own hamstrings need to be stretched out a little more. That's the kind of stuff that you can get with your soul embodiment. So I'm going to give you a bunch of examples. Okay, my body is being tuned by my guide, right? My soul comes through for me and tells me what needs to be done. Sometimes I'm in the mode of love for who I am, and other times I'm not feeling so good. And so they come through and they let me know where I'm at. It's not always pleasant, okay? And that's the nature of healing your hearts. And that's why we tell people to heal your hearts. Now, the workout of a lifetime is definitely an understatement. Don't tread lightly down that path. Enjoy your visions. And that's why I say one step at a time, people. Just take it one step at a time. Breathe deep. Open up your hearts. Nasal passages were opened up for me, and I could tell that the vision of love was there. Okay, so people are going to have a lot of interesting ideas about what soul embodiment is. If they start to understand the beauty of, I'm also in my heart a God soul, that's someone else. And we want to honor that vision of love for the soul of souls. That's basically what a lot of people will refer to that vision as. When you connect to that source of all as a soul, you get to go to those highest realms of love. Depending on what your vision is of it, your soul will guide you to those visions of love for God or the angels or Marianne's vision is also part of that vision of soul embodiment. And I want to let people understand, I'm getting their visions, right, of people who are living. Their soul is still vibrating in the third dimension. I still have my heart here in the third dimension when I'm talking with my family and my friends and other people. And then when I am in the mode of love for my own heart, I'm very much in that realm of 5D for a lot of it. I do traverse various realms. And when you hit those notes of love, it's very strong. Some people will say, I'm going to mourn the loss of my family members. They fear that vision has gone too far, right? Never again does anyone ever look at me and say that I went too far, right? I had to fight my way through that vision of pain that I did go through. I had to decide for myself, do I want to take on the nerve damage that others are saying they have in their body? And we want to honor your vision. Your nerves are being damaged, right? Or there has been some. I had nerve damage in my leg that was erased completely by my mind. It took time. That was a long time ago. There's someone else on the line that's got some nerve damage they're working with. And so we want to say, we want to honor your vision. You will be healthy in your mind, first and foremost, when you go down the path of guidance for the soul. It is about embodiment of love. You heal your hearts, your souls, and your bodies. Your minds are where it's at, though, in a lot of the cases, okay? And so that's why we say sometimes those painful processes that we go under, right? The surgeons of the world that say, I don't want to hear about the body being taken care of. It is understandably the strong souls that know the vision of love. We are more than who we are here. That's the nature of soul. So I do have that vision of guidance from other dimensional souls that know how to heal our minds first before our bodies get the energy work that is brought to us. So my mind was already starting to kind of feel some of the vibrations of love before the full-on body work started. And it was a beautiful expression, considering what I was working with was very strong. And I didn't know what it was. That's me. You know, other people would say, get back to me and my nerve damage. Okay, if you imagine your nerves, they are living, breathing visions of your mind. You focus on them, right? Okay, so there's various ideas about what people will do in the mode of healing. Some people say we focus on those visions and we imagine them growing, right? And healing and reattaching and, you know, whatnot. Others on the fifth dimension would say, don't ever focus on your physical body. You focus on your mindset. And others will say, well, I get to inhabit various realms. And if I have a doctor on my heart who happens to know what visions I need, I get told what vitamins I should be taking, what nutrients I'm lacking in, right? That's my doctor, but they'll tell me, Brenda, you need to go take your vitamins. You forgot to take your vitamins. So I get those little helpful hints that are huge for me, okay, as a caretaker of, you know, my children and myself. It's not easy doing this process. So it depends on your soul. So for the person with the nerve damage, I can honestly say that it's going to take some time for you to regrow those nerves, but they do regrow. It takes time. And your body is in that process of healing in this moment. I can give you the prayer of love that you honestly feel like you need. Your blessings are adhered to, which means you get the blessings of love brought to you by and large, for the most part, about every other day by somebody in your circle. And that's the beauty of it. You're being blessed left and right by some people who are saying, I'm in the prayer circle of my life. That's another vision, right? The prayer circle. So those are those visions of, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to pray for the angels to come through again to help me heal my heart, my soul, my visions, and my nerves. So the Garth Brooks energy is strong for certain souls. Hello, Garth, right? Is Garth Brooks on the line? His vision is, I am strong, I'm coming through for the vision of those who would want to know who I am on the inside, rather than just the persona that I inhabit in the third dimension. How many people want to go down that vision of Garth? Great idea, right? So people are going to start going, this is going to be strong. Okay, that's the nature of his fifth dimensional soul, caretaking our heart, saying, I'm a country boy through and through. I have no issues with this woman. She loves all souls. She takes no shots at anyone, but she was having a struggle with our vision of love. Loretta Lynn was brought to her attention. She has a view of Loretta Lynn as a beautiful soul. I don't discriminate in the musical realms. That's where I can go. We vibrate with those souls. Now, many people will say, that's my kind of gal, right? I don't listen to Garth Brooks. I know one song of Garth. That's Brenda's vision. I only know one or two songs of Garth Brooks. I just didn't go down that path. I have no ill will towards anyone in the vision of country. I embodied that vision. And he says she loves that song. And so they're reminding her about that song. But in essence, this is for someone who is on this vision. And they are going to cheer out loud, I can bring through your honeys. That's the nature of it. Most of these visions are being watched by a lot of women. And they're saying, ooh, I get to have my honey bunch come through, right? We have these visions of love and adoration for the country western stars of the world. And he's like, I moved into pop just as much as I did country. It was sort of a blending of it. I broke the barriers of country in some ways. It's been done before, but most people would say, yeah, we know it was a big hit that did that vision. Carefree souls are starting to come alive. You want to come alive in the vision of love? Soul embodiment allows you to attract those visions of love that are there in your heart. So you start to vibrate in the beauty of music. I listen to my music a lot, but I wasn't as carefree as what I could have been when I was so serious in my soul embodiment process, right? It took a toll on my heart. I'm not going to lie, okay? I would normally say I'm not going to BS anybody. It took a toll on my heart. I took a beating, in essence, from the vibration of love, where I thought I was connecting with my own soul, and then I realized I was connecting with other souls' visions, right? No, my soul is embodied, and then that expands into the vision of a guide. And so that's why I'm here to tell you, you guys don't have to worry. I'm not taking their energy into my body as much as an essence of who they are that's being transmitted through based on my own soul's vision of love. So I vibrate with their visions. Hallelujah. Guaranteed to create a beautiful vision. So I know that there are people who want the vision of, I would like to embody my own soul so that I can have that strength to do the vision of love and healing that many claim that they are doing in their hearts. When I go down the path of healer, it is of a natural healing at this point that most people are interested in. When they go, usually when they're in soul embodiment, they're either looking at soul searching, right? That's the vision that most are saying they want to go down. You look in, right? Not always. A lot of people go outside of their hearts to other kinds of guides who will say, we're going to sit, we're going to meditate, we're going to pray, we're going to vibrate in the beauty of our hearts, we're going to love ourselves fiercely, we're going to enjoy the beauty of my light. George Michael's in the room, right? He's not in a room, but boy, does he feel good, right? How many people know what it's like to carry their hearts from another understanding of soul? And his vision is, I would have loved to have met this woman's vision of love. How many people can take on the vision of an angel, a movie star, a guide from the hellish realms, right? That's one thing that people keep placing on my heart. And I had to deal with that vision, and it was not pleasant. Honor your hearts. Reach out to those who sit there and don't buy into that vision, unless it's something of an understanding of, I don't need to place it on my friends or family members who are going through the process themselves. If you're feeling the conditioning kind of come off, that's going to be a good thing. And when I say that, I don't mean that people have to disregard the love of their families. You just don't have to abide by their visions of you, of what you are. Are you carefree in the mindset? Are you wishing you could go see Garth? How many people want to go see Garth Brooks? Okay, so I'm going to try and let him know that there's someone there that's winking. See, he's a winker. And he would say, I'm going to give him a great show. And that's the nature of it. His vision is greet the guest at the door and let them know they're being greeted at the door. He's saying, I can't hold a concert indoors right now, my loves. That's what he seriously is saying. That's a vision of who he is. Okay? His soul is strong. He has the vibration of an angel in his mind because in essence, he's of the Christ soul. Okay? Very much so. Very much so. Right? Like, I'm not going to dishonor that vision. But I want you to understand that that's the nature of love. I'm going to try and bring through that vision of love for all souls when I sing my songs. Even if they're of the nature of love of Christ or of soul building. So he's like, people build their souls up by listening to the music of life. Whether they are sad or happy or not, sometimes those songs of destruction, he says, we listen to them in certain circles. So in essence, Brenda has that vision that sometimes she listens to hard rock, right? Some of it's more destructive. But we're not going to name the band because in essence, it's a strong one. But she actually kind of gets off on it. And we don't mean that in a bad way. It's literally like getting out the energy, you know. And he's saying it's not the best place for her to get that vision out. When she's in the kitchen, right? I sing. That's the beautiful thing, you guys. Raise your vibration when you do that vision. You might want to play those songs that make you happy. Okay? And if you can't find them, play something that is inspiring, you know, that makes you feel good, and you'll be just fine. Okay? No need to worry. Garth Brooks may come through for us in that vision of singing a song about barren. It's like the barren. He's got his heart out for a woman that's respecting of our president's son. And she will not release any more information related to his soul at this point in time until that soul has reached the maturity that is needed for the information to come through. That's a U.S. soul, by the way, for those of you who are going to start watching from the international spectrum of life. I do care for those souls, and I do have the vision of honoring all souls. So when I'm in the mode of guidance, people understand I have been tested time and time again with the family of Trump, and I still honor that vision of their child, and their children are in struggle. But I will not release more information about that vision until it is deemed appropriate. Okay. The methodology that I use to greet the guests at the door, it's going to be one of those things that will be needed for certain people. When you're greeted at the door, I would say, hello. And I want to say to my cousin, I'm getting that. Hello, Tisha. So I'm going to say a first name, right? You're being honored for your vision of longevity in admiring of a certain soul. And we all know who that is. And his name is very strong in the realm of music. And we're not going to say who it is because we want you to have your privacy as well. And we will say the beauty of that vision is that you took it to a level of admiration and love that is being reciprocated in a way that is strong. In your mind, you say, I love the souls for who they are, not for who they were. I can still carry the torch for the soul of love. Okay, and it's not what people are going to think. It doesn't mean that you have the vision of admiration only. It's I was in that vision of, wow, I'm actually in contact with this soul. Okay. And she's admiring that vision. She's like, well, I hear from my soul too, but it's not always the best thing, So in essence, I want to say I love you. Thank you for joining. You're here to see the beauty of who I am. When it comes to the celebrities, she's like, you have part of it already with you. You would be connecting with a lot of the souls yourself. If you embodied that soul vision, you've already done half the work. You know how to deal with the publicity area of life. And in essence, that's part of it. So for me, at a certain soul level, I'm still working on how to deal with the publicity of my vision. I don't want to go down the path of being obstructed from living my life. I don't want to be one of those people where I can't walk out the door without someone hounding me for a reading. Okay, I'm not at that point yet. Okay, so if people are wanting their souls read, I will say, I will talk to you, in the vision of love. And when I talk to you, I'm not going to sound like this necessarily until I actually go into the mode of guidance. So it's not going to sound, I don't sound this way when I'm talking on the phone or on the computer. People just need to reach out and just say, hey, I want to hear more about Huey. Okay. And that's his private life that you are in access to on a level that is quite interesting. I could give you more information from his soul. It would be it's like a duplicate vision that you guys have of each other. And in essence, he's also very instructive in that vision of, we're not going to go public with the vision of what we love. Okay, so in essence, the admiration that you hold for his soul is one in which he would honor your vision for his soul. And he understands the work that was involved in all of those publicity areas that you are also keeping alive for the band. And we also want to honor his soul by saying we honor the struggle in his mindset, his vision of love, his vision of health, his vision of prosperity, his vision of kindness. He's of superior intelligence in his mind as well. Okay, he's very smart. He knows how to handle the women in the audience, right? And it's not a bad thing. But his soul is very strong. I'm not going to dishonor anybody. And so it's not a tearing down of the walls, but you broke through that barrier of celebrity, that often gets put up with people. And they had that view, I'm not just a celebrity with her. I'm an honorary soul. And so you're being honored for that vision of love, adoration, and friendship. And in essence, from a soul level understanding, you're also in the mode of I'm of love for his heart. He's very kind and generous with his soul. So he gives a lot back to his soulmates. And in essence, that's the view of love. Okay, so it doesn't have to be, of a nature that is, coupling or anything like that. But in essence, it's not collide with him, but it's more like you are arriving in that vision of, I wish I would have done something different. And we would say, you have a gift to do that work. You're very carefree in your mind, but you're very limited in your mindset when it comes to your own ideas about how you feel about certain ideas in your heart. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get personal for the most part. I could, but I'm not going to. He says, I'm going to fight for her. He wants to fight for you too, because in essence, he sees who you are and he says, I know she must be struggling, right? You are more in line with I'm going to be carefree and loving, and that's what is attractive, okay? Your spirit is attractive, okay? Your heart is attractive. Your mindset is in the struggle of your own being sometimes. But in essence, you've learned to just be that kind of carefree soul that others adore. Now, for the first time in a year, I have tried to tell people I'm not going to sit there and reveal the source of vision. But I can honestly tell you, your own vision of love is one of those souls that helps bring through the vision of love from his soul. Would I be bringing through Huey if his vision of love wasn't on the line at some point in time? I might. Okay. But since you and I are also connected in our hearts, those are your souls, right? So everyone will say, oh, no, I didn't have any connection with this other, singer or anything. I don't know anybody like that, right? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? We know people who know people. Okay. It's not about trying to bring through the beauty of celebrity status. They're very honoring of those that can actually honor their hearts for who they are outside of stardom. Marching orders are to focus on God now. Okay. So we don't want to dishonor your heart. We know it's a little personal. God has been deemed to be important for the majority of the souls on the planet, right? Most people have some wisdom about whether that is God, as in the name of God, or it's like Buddha, right? Or of higher source, right? A lot of people have a lot of different names, but in essence, a lot of people will use the term God. Heavenly realms are around us. Yes, I do hear from the family tree every so often, and it is usually very loving. It is usually very honoring of my heart. I had to distance myself from the visions of my family for a long time. It inhibits me sometimes to think of them as they were. And that's the view that many are going to start to understand when they see that other video that I will release probably tomorrow. It's not going to be tonight. It's too late. And I'm apologizing for those viewers that think that they're going to get their nerves regenerated, right? No, someone is saying, I need my nerves regenerated as soon as possible because I can feel myself slipping into that method of love for my heart, but my body doesn't want to agree with me. Okay, so my mind is there, my body still hurts, or I am not feeling what I want to be feeling. So I'm going to tell you what the angels of vibration would tell you, because there are many there who know how to do that work. Gabriel is part of that vision of love. Gabriel is it's like the vibration of Gabriel, right? And we're not talking about a son. We're talking about the vibration of the angel Gabriel. His son is also there, by the way, in his mind. Okay. The vibration of an angel energy that could come through for you would say, by and large, my name has been deemed beautiful by most people who are in the vibration of angelic realms. I come through with the vision of love for all souls. Carefree souls are about to turn off the vision. They don't want to hear about the angels in heaven, right? It's not about dishonoring those who are not in the vibration of angels or who don't understand what that vision means for those who need that. I have a vibrational being on the line who is in struggle mode with their health. So this is where that vision of, it's like ongoing investment. You have an ongoing investment in the realm of love for the struggle mode. And that's what we want to talk about. What happens is that I often come to this place of love for the angels who are with me in my heart, but don't serve the it's like certain vibrations of souls on the line don't want to hear from that vibration because it means that there's a different guide, right? Do you not understand that I vibrate in the vibration of all? And I inhabit various realms of understanding. Therefore, my guides are from various levels of understanding. Heavenly realms. How many people are afraid to reach into the vision of a heavenly realm? Because in that vision, then they start to think, well, then am I creating with the opposite? I will guide you outside of that vision of needing to create that unless it's necessary for you. Most people actually don't necessarily create so much with that vibration of opposite. It's just there for those who need it. And if you're not in that vibration of I don't see it all around me, then you're good. Okay? You're a good soul, right? Okay. How many people are like, I feel the vibration of something that doesn't feel good? I can guide you through that. I've had my experience of that. My soul gives me that vision of what I am thinking about sometimes. And I say, thank you for the vision. I don't need to feel that vibration anymore. And we also want to come through with that vision of just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's going to come true necessarily. Okay, when you're embodied with your soul, sometimes they will test you. They will give you someone else's vision and ask you, are you going to keep creating with that vision or are you going to be done with it? Okay, I've had some scary things go on in my life. Okay, I wasn't scared about a lot. Now, it is very little that I'm afraid of. I don't need to go to those realms that other people claim. I have to deal with relationships still on the other side for people that are here that I've let go sometimes. And it can be an instructive vision in the dream state. Okay. That's another vision of soul embodiment. You start to work out things in the dream state. We all do, but they're not all of the same quality of, processors, okay? I'm one of those people that needs to process. So that's why my guides give me a lot of that stuff to work out. And then it enlightens me to other places that I might be either going to, or where my vibration is, or things that I still need to work on. Now, for those in that vibration of Gabriel, I would say I can honor that vision of love. I can honor that vision of hate, right? The love and the hate of vibration. Most people are still like, I don't know what that means. When you work with energy work, and if you feel it for the first time, you will know. You will have no doubt that you're working with energy. It is literally vibrations, or like a humming in your body. And then what happens is that you become it's like accumulated energy work. You can open up to the nature of Gabriel, right? His vibration was of God, right? So people expect the angels to come through in their form that they saw me a long time ago. I still have to release that vision for you guys to see the embodiment of that soul in that moment. And that's when I was in that higher state of vision, right? So others will say, oh, so you're not in the vibration of the angels. I'm in the vibration of my soul and of all souls. And so right now, I'm with the vibration of all of you. And in essence, when I was doing that vision, it wasn't live. So I was able just to kind of do my thing and go high. And that's the nature of it. It's not always looking like that, but it is. There's a different vibration for different souls. People are going to laugh because they'll be like, that looks like fun. It is fun. When you hit those higher notes of love, it's parts of you that you bring back to you. So if you remember being carefree and you're like, I don't feel so carefree anymore, I got a lot of work. That's me too. I have a lot of work that's kind of backlogged. But I want to honor you guys with this session. And that's why I'm not always going to hit every single soul that's on here. I mean, I think you guys can understand that. I'm waiting for y'all to sit there and just give me a shout out and say, hey, y'all can, y'all can come visit, right? No one can come visit me. But what you can do is you can, go to my website, BrendaGervais.com, and you can contact me and we'll set up a session or just a phone call or whatever. And we can say, hey, what's going on? And if you are new to this vision of guidance for the soul, I do a channel for the soul session that's on Sunday, but it's very much under the umbrella of guidance. So usually there's going to be some kind of, message or meaning behind it that could be, well, it doesn't have to be of serious nature. It could be about the joy of life, the freedom of, affection or religion. There's various topics that we could go into. I love my Friday nights though with my children. So, and how many Star Wars fans are there that are like, woohoo, Mandalorian's being released again? I am one of those souls, and all I gotta say is thank goodness there are other shows being released. Because how many of us are tired of being in pandemic? I will most likely start doing those societal impact visions as well. They are strong for me. I get that vision. And I want to honor those that say some of them are very serious, but I think a lot of people on here would start to honor that vision that if I'm getting forecasting of future, or of things that will help us go down a path of love that is more in alignment with health or a higher vibration of who we are as a nation, I'm going to just do that. We're not soul worthy people, right? literally, people are dishonoring of their own hearts. You are all loved, whether you got your information brought through or not. It is literally just, it's not the luck of a draw. Sometimes your hearts are praying for another reading. I want another reading. I want another reading. I want another reading. Then just open up your hearts and say, it's okay if my heart comes through on the screen. And most will say it absolutely is. Someone else is wanting the Garth Brooks stuff. Do you see how I've got a lot of those soul visions around me? Garth Brooks is going to be in concert again someone was saying in May. We will see. But the vision of vaccine might be increasing those visions of I need to get out. And others are going to be like, it's going to take us some time. His vision is not May of this year, right? We can hold off for another year. His vision is very much of I retired and I'm done. And that's why people are starting to get a little excited. Because the vision is he may be increasing that likelihood that he wants to get out on the road again. Most customers will say, I don't want Garth Brooks coming through. It's not him in this vision. People, okay? Others will say there's a story behind that vision of why Garth is somehow not being received as well. It's not a bad thing, okay? Pleasant dreams for the majority of you guys. You're having pleasant dreams. You will open up to the nature of your hearts. Don't worry about nightmares. That doesn't mean that you're in some low vibration. Okay, I gotta lay it out on the line for you, because there are going to be some souls that are going to tell you all kinds of stuff. You would need to have your own soul session, in essence, for me to bring through the biographical index of love. I'm going to start watching those videos that people tell me to watch. Okay, I get told movies that are going to be helpful for us, carefree souls, to open up to the nature of love from other cultures or from other nations. So Lawrence of Arabia was one that I was told about. And I watched it. In essence, I was not able to watch a lot of it. I had seen it before, but in essence, it is about the nature of it's the Middle East in essence. But it's not just the Middle East. It's of the struggle of survival in the climates, right? There's more to it. See, for me, I was in mode of Thanksgiving. So I was still prepping everything and, cooking and cleaning and all of that. So I have to watch it. I missed so much of it. I don't know enough about it. That's Brenda. My guidance would say you don't need to watch Lawrence of Arabia again. However, for those of you who do watch the movie, be prepared for an INFJ mindset when you look at that vision of Lawrence. And that is one of those visions of the mindset of I am the Messiah, and that's the nature of Christ, okay? In essence, that's what that view is. And that's the nature of the ego expressing as one. And then it comes crashing down, right? And in essence, that's the vision of I feel like I'm able to affect the change of the world. When I bring through love from your hearts, that's just as powerful to me as if I'm bringing through the vision of the United States or the United Nations. I know now I'm working within the vision of love for all souls, even outside of the vision of soul, but I'm not going to go there at that point. Okay, so I want to say thank you for honoring me with your love, your attention, because to me, if your vision is I'm going to stick with her, and see if she brings through my mother again and again and again. And I want to honor your heart and say your mother is one of my biggest cheerleaders. I had an issue in my mind with someone's mother, but I'm telling you, it's not who I think it is. So Brenda can sometimes impart her own vision of something or someone. Your mother is still here. And so I want to say thank you, Mom, as Brenda's mother who supports her daughter through this process. Thank God she had her mother there to help her with this process. We don't all need our family members, but that's the strength of her mother to know that her daughter was not just making things up, and that she had the vision of love for all souls to come through. So I'm going to honor my mom and say, Mom, I'll do the healing for you when I can, okay? But we won't do it over the phone. I got to do it in person. So when you come over, right? Grave diggers. We're not going to be messing around with the pandemic. I'm not going to end the session at 8 until I get the vision of pandemic out of my system. Most people are thinking that Brenda is feeling the visions of pandemic for her heart. She is clearing the way for her family. She literally got told those 2 souls that were named in a previous video, you can put your minds at rest in this moment. You're not being called out for the long haul. It was literally that moment, and the changes that were made were enough to guide you into a different vision of health. And that's what we want to honor. You are free and clear at this moment. I'm not going to guarantee anybody's health who is not in the vision of, it's like of solidarity. But that's the nature of it. I am with you in my heart. I'm trying to be as sincere as possible when I say I will try to keep everyone that I can free and clear of the health issues of love. It is a soul's vision that came through for you. It is not her to deem whether or not you are to stay or go. That is a soul level understanding. She will not take responsibility for anyone who passes, nor will she take responsibility for anyone's vision of love for the devil, okay, or anyone's love for violence, or anyone's love of any of those other kind of vibrations that, you know, can sometimes be brought to her based on who she's working with. Okay, and we're not saying that that was the vibration. Some people will say that's what it was. And that's what we're getting called out for, is that there are those in the family tree who will say that was a vision of hate when it wasn't meant to be, right? If you know your soul that well, then why are you not walking with them? You would have been getting those visions, and maybe in your mindsets, that's where you were, was I have to be more healthy, right? I have to be more healthy. It's not just about your health, okay? Those visions are about the expansion of your circle of love and your family. And that was the vision of, I don't know who my family's all being around, right? Or who they've been around. And it's not a condemning of anybody's visions, their love of their family or their friends. It is an honoring of it. And I'm here to tell you that that vision was very strong for a reason. And Brenda's feeling the vibration of your, like, whoa, this is very strong. She burns off the vision of COVID for those of you on the screen right now. That's her soul coming through for her. When you leave the vision of today, are you going to go out and party? I will not take responsibility for your souls. When your soul comes through for you and says out of nowhere, Jesus loves me, I am free. That's the nature of many who go to the next level of understanding. They will say, I'm in the arms, and it's like I'm in the arms of the angels. I don't have to be in the arms of an angel to be free of COVID. Okay. You get that vision of love from various levels of understanding, depending on what vibration you're working in. You can call out to the angels and have them come to you with that message of love, adoration, and healing. Do you embody the Angel of Gabriel? Okay. That's one of those visions too. They have different visions, but it depends on what your own idea of the heavenly realms are. Okay. Christ embodiment is where a lot of people are going. That's going to be a tricky topic because in essence, it's a beautiful strength that many will hold dearly into their hearts. And it is about the nature of rising to that level of understanding and taking those teachings into their hearts. And in essence, what that opens you up to is those visions of whether those teachings have changed, right? Are we still using the vibration of a book? Or are we using the visions of the souls that have carried themselves to that nature of, I have embodied my own soul? You see, that's for me to determine. Most souls who go to the Christ embodiment soul think they're reaching for the soul of Christ, and that's what they're reaching for. They know that vision of that heavenly realm. Right? So they might not be thinking, I'm going to embody the vision of Jesus, the man, as he was. But the nature of love of those souls that, rise above the vision of all, right? They're part of it. They're not all of it. They're part of it. It's an aspect of who I am. I was able to do that vision. And others will not believe me. Others will say that's evil. Others will say all kinds of things. But in essence, when I hear those visions of pandemic, people are thinking, well, it's just reinforcing it in our minds. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I honor that vision. But I want to say a big thank you to those of you who are in support of the honesty that I bring forth about the pandemic. And that will also be coming through in other visions. We are not out of the woods, obviously, people. So that vision of 2 to 3 years still holds strong. For most, it will be within the next year and a half when they get their full dosage of vaccine. It depends on where you are. They're expecting to get it out sooner than that, but it takes time for us to learn the results of those vaccines as well. It's not all pleasant. I will tell you what those shots felt like, right? I can't explain it anymore other than to say, yeah, it felt worse than what, a normal shot was. That's another vision of what my guide was giving me. Those souls that are getting vaccinated are definitely having some symptoms of certain things. It's not to scare anybody. We will not ever do that because this is the saving grace of our life. and are light at this point, because the majority of people are not abiding by the rules of the road, right? I want to honor those visions. It's not about the Navy, Marines, Air Force, the military. Okay, there's a lot of service members who come through for me. And in essence, I want to honor your visions of love. And in essence, I got a very beautiful message this morning as Brenda. She got her message from her service members. And they said she's going to make sure she carries us all over the finish line. And that's the nature of it. Some will say that I am like, and that's the nature of her heart coming through. No, we're not going to let her go down that path of past. She's not going to let you die. Let's put it that way. Without her heart coming through to try and prevent any ill will. Okay, I don't want to dishonor your vision of death. Some people are continually in the mindset of, I need death around me. It's like some people are thinking it's all around me, or I'm hearing about it all the time. Don't worry about that vision. Your soul doesn't take it on as, oh, if I'm thinking about it, that means that that's where I'm going. I have a soul that I love dearly. And he creates the vision of catastrophe all the time. And he's also on the line at some point. And he'll say, I'm part of the problem, aren't I? We need to be open to the love of, it's caroling. Okay? Let's go caroling, right? If you're in the vision of Jesus, we're going to talk about those carols. People, you can go sing, your hearts out, right? Now? No, I'm not going to give you that vision. That's a dishonoring of the level of guidance that we're working. If the fifth dimension would say, I'm going to sing my heart out wherever I am, right? The nature of love says, I don't have to worry about COVID. I still honor the vision of all, though. And at this point, that's a no-brainer about where that one goes. I'm not going out into public spaces creating more havoc than what is needed. Okay, I could go through the vision of COVID again, but I have to be careful. I cannot really say that vision. I can't, oh gosh, that shot again. So when I say it, sometimes I actually get the vision of a vaccine. That's my soul clearing me out. And it's not exactly a clearing out, because that happened even before the vaccine. But I want to honor your visions. Now, I am going to start to wind this down. I want to say I love you for your commitment to the service industry. For those of you who are still out and about and are in that vision of, I have to work, I have to work, I have to work. I have to do this work. I get exposed to other people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. There are plenty of people who are in that vision, who are of service, and who are picking up those germs for whatever reason. And we want to say you are not being blamed. There is no blame going around from a soul level understanding. What we want is for you to understand that you are doing the best that you can. And if that's the case, that's your way of showing your love as a person. Soul level understanding would say, I know when I'm doing my best, right? I know when I'm doing my best. So just keep doing your best. Your soul knows that. There's no guide ever that would say that your soul is going to dishonor you. They can come through strong if you're not doing something. When you're doing soul embodiment, they will come through strong. But in this public forum, you're not going to get, taken to the tables. The tables you're serving, or there's someone serving, going to the tables. Tables, there's something going on. Let's see if we can find that vision stronger. It was a little bit of a mix-up in the mindset. Okay. Hearken. Okay. This is our vision of now we've got a collision of guides. So I have to take a breath. Moment by moment, I'm awakening to the prayer energy of love, based on the vision that others are they themselves praying for their health. And I want to say, don't stress over pandemic. Open your hearts. Do the best that you can. The vision of health is on the horizon. It is on health. Let us focus on our health. I am healthy. I am strong. For those of you that are in that vision of I am healthy, and we don't have to always go by what, someone else is telling us. Literally, be grateful for that fact. I am not on a ventilator yet, right? I'm not on a ventilator. No, I'm not on a ventilator. I don't need it. Okay, my heart's fine. My mind's fine. My health is my own business. We're not going to go to those souls who are thinking this is a violation of some kind of ethical, issue or ethical trust. Your soul wouldn't come through unless there was a reason to come through. So that's why I wanted to make sure that those souls who heard their names before in the vision of being careful and, watching out. I'm not going to say that there's never going to be an issue for you. What I'm saying is that at that moment when you take those extra precautions, that's enough to get you out of the vision of there's something wrong with me. Or someone says, I already had it. And they think that they don't have to worry about it again. That's not always the case, but it's incredibly unlikely for people to get it more than once. At this point in time, it is still being determined how many people get it more than once. Okay. Not twice a year, but twice a week, right? Some people are going out in public more than once a week. And we would say it's not about grocery shopping. It's about I'm visiting places of worship twice a week. And that can be one of those places that can be a little tricky because in essence, you're being told I'm safe. But your soul knows the difference, right? Your soul knows that if those visions are of love, they will have you wearing your mask when you're inside. If you're not wearing your mask when you're inside, the protection has been deemed of holier than thou, correct? I can't dishonor anyone's vision, but in essence, it's a risk that many are willing to take. And if you're in that vision of I'm willing to take the risk for my family's sake, their salvation depends on it, right? That's not true. I can wait a few months or weeks. Someone needs to wait a few weeks to get out of that vision of pandemic in church. Because there's someone there that says, I'm just going to keep going, whether or not it's safe or not, because I'm still in that mindset of I'm okay dying in church. And we will say, your vision is not to die, but it's the words that are being used in the minds of many. And not all people who say that are in that vision of I'm safe. But a lot of people are, because in essence, they might be taking the precautions that they need to in their minds, right? I'm not going to cheer people on with that one. It's not cheer people. It's like people don't want to know whether or not they can go to church. That's your personal belief system, right? Well, if you were with your soul, then you would know for sure whether it was okay to go to church. That's the nature of it. I get told which restaurants I could theoretically go to if I wanted to. But I'm not going to disservice those people by, putting on a front and letting people know which ones they are. It doesn't work that way. Your own soul has its vision. And if I'm in the vision of my life is love, that's the vision of love for my soul. I love who I am. And that's how most people are, in essence, whether or not you believe it or not. And it doesn't mean you have to like every single aspect about who you are. You could say, I don't like this or that or whatnot, but I do love who I am. And so I want to say thank you for your attention, your love, and your visions that are being brought forth. Open your guidance systems, people. That's what others are going to say. They're going to say, go look somewhere else, right? If you don't understand the vision of love that's being brought through because it somehow didn't reconfirm the mindset that you're in about what a soul would say to another soul, I'm sorry I didn't give you the vision that you were hoping for. I would say maybe next time. Okay? Now, thank you for your love, for your attention, for your guidance. We guide each other in these visions often. Your souls are very strong. Your hearts are even stronger. Let them shine through. Let that shining, bright light shine through. Those are your visions of love. Take care and have a great evening.